Happy Venus Day, everybody. Welcome to this Love Energy Tarot card reading for Friday, September 23rd. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Jane, for those of you who are new. Super happy to have everybody here. So this week, as always, we have two segments. The first segment is for those of you who are married or in relationships. And the second segment is for those of you who are single and looking for love, or if you find yourself in a little bit of a situationship. Now, I'm doing something just a little differently this week. These segments are actually going to be pick a card readings. I thought I'd play with the format just a little bit. And don't forget that if you are a member on my website, just go to janeinternational.com, go to the blog page, and you can watch the extended readings that I do for every zodiac sign. Timestamps for each segment will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. And let's get into it. Hello there. So this particular segment is for those of you who are married or in established relationships. Now, I am changing the format just a little bit where I wanted to do pick a cards for each of these segments. So it's a little bit more of a tailored experience for you. So for those of you in established relationships, we do have 3 piles. And I'm so sorry. I was feeling very drawn to this particular stone, but I have no idea what this one is. It's not a Kambaba jasper and it's not a bloodstone. I'm just really not sure. But anyway, so we have like a mystery stone, I guess. And then we have a manganese calcite and a red jasper. So take a moment if you want to feel your way through this, you certainly can. Some people feel more intuitively drawn than others. If you don't feel intuitively drawn, that's perfectly fine. You can always just randomly pick a pile and there will likely be something that comes out that is useful for you. So timestamps will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below for easy access so you can quickly jump from pile to pile. Okay, all right, see you in just a sec. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected this sort of mystery stone, if you will. I have no idea what it is, but let's go ahead and see what comes through for you. So I'm going to lay these cards out just a little different than I normally do. We are going to focus on your energy first, and then we'll focus on your partner. Okay, High Priestess, Knight of Coins, Justice, and the Ace of Wands. I feel like you are coming to terms with something, either within your relationship or within your life as a whole. And the desire to expand has been very strong as Jupiter has been coming through Aries, and we've all been desiring and craving a new set of experiences or a new set of challenges even. And there's something deep calling. You're feeling called in some way, shape, or form. And it's an undeniable voice. It's not something that you can push down or you can repress or you can ignore. It's something that you must pay attention to. And you have to do something about it with that Knight of Coins. There has to be some quality or some level of action. But I think you're really concerned about what it's going to mean for the relationship. So maybe some of you have, like, I don't know, a new job offer in a new city. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to do a long distance thing? Does that mean you have to move your partner out to this new city as well and get them a new job? Or maybe there's a new business that you want to start, but it's going to require you to quit your current job, and that may take a hit with the household income. So whatever the decision is that you're facing, I do think you're going to move through it slowly, but man, the impact is going to be huge. Hopefully you have a supportive partner, a partner that actually cares and listens and understands when it comes to the reasons why you're needing to do something. And hopefully you don't have a partner that says, well, this is impacting me too much, so you can't do it. Hopefully that's not the case. Unfortunately, I think some of you will be in that situation. So you're going to have to decide whether or not this relationship is really for you or not. Death. This is for your partner's energy now. Well, the good news is you both have Libran energies. Now, Sun obviously is coming into Libra today. And so there is a quality of reestablishing some level of balance. Now, we can't ever truly be perfectly balanced. There is always a process of counterbalance going on. And sometimes that can feel really disruptive. And I feel with the Death card, your partner perceives, I'm not saying they actually are, but I think they are perceiving that they are taking the brunt of that realignment or that readjustment. I do think you're the one initiating the process of adjustment right now, or you're the one that's going through something where you need to make new decisions for yourself. The reason why I say that is because of the Ace of Wands, and it is your partner's responsibility to have understanding. The question is, with that Death card, is are they capable of allowing it to be about you when it needs to be about you instead of making it about them? Healthy partners will take this in stride and offer to take it step by step and say, okay, if this is really what you need, if this is the new decision, if this is the new direction that you need to take, how can I be of assistance? How can I be of assistance, rather, if I could talk? How can I be of good use for you in this new trajectory in which you find yourself? There is a little bit of soul searching for both of you, High Priestess and Death. Both of you are having to go deep within yourself. Both of you are having to access that underworld, and maybe there is a trigger here and there. Maybe there is an argument here or there, but at the end of the day, the question is, are you capable of being triggered? Are you capable of being offended or hurt or feeling unsupported and being able to communicate your way through that? See, Mercury is going to be retrograding back into Virgo, and because right now Mercury and the Sun are like conjunct, and as that transition is happening, the Sun moves forward, Mercury goes back, so they're kind of like going like this right now. The good news is Mercury in Virgo is still solution oriented. We also have Venus in Virgo as well, still solution oriented, analyzing, going deep within an issue and finding a way to fix or solve it. So no one's walking away here. No one's throwing up their hands and saying, forget it. It's just a matter of working with what you have and being able to kind of get over yourself. And you're going to need to get over yourself in certain ways, and they're going to need to get over themselves in certain ways. Interesting that we have the Virgo Libra cards showing up right on top of one another as well. The good news is that I think you do, right? I think that you do show up for one another, you do communicate, you do find a solution, and you do move forward. So there's no stagnating right now. It's just a matter of getting on the same page, coming together and learning how to integrate this new thing or whatever, okay? So you may see new colors. You may see deeper levels of your partner. You may have to expose deeper levels of yourself. You may get to know a little bit of who you are becoming. You may notice a higher degree of strength and fire within you with that Ace of Wands. Okay, let's see what comes through with the Psychic Tarot. We have nurture, which means you have to take care of one another. You have to take care of one another. You have to supply one another with support. And it doesn't have to be blind support. I'm not saying to support one another's blind aspirations. But I don't think that there's anything too out there right now. Okay, I don't think that it's too out of reach or too crazy or anything. I think things are realistic. They're attainable. It's not unheard of. It's not like no one's never done it before, that kind of thing. It's just a matter of biting the bullet and really grabbing onto that Ace of Wands and saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to start moving forward. Good news, again, repeating myself, but that Page of Wands is going to say, let's just take it one step at a time. And your Knight of Coins is going to say, okay, I like that. I like that notion of taking it one day at a time. You may be a little bit more impulsive, where with the Queen of Swords, it is more strategic. Okay. And then let's pull out Sexual Magic card. Okay, and we have the Five of Cups. Whoops, hold on. We're not taking any more, just the one. So we have the Five of Cups. I do think you're a little bit more in charge. The person watching this, you're a little bit more in charge, and the other person is taking your lead just a little bit more. I'm sensing more support coming from your partner. For one reason, this Queen of Swords, I feel there's a little bit more accommodation, but it's not as though they're completely giving up their own stuff for the sake of yours. It's just they're the ones that need to adjust a little bit more. I feel too much heftiness and too much weight coming from that Ace of Wands. There's too much direction with that. And right now it's pulling you, it's calling you. It's too, like there's too much desire there. And sometimes we can't really overpower our desires, you know? So it's just like you're kind of operating from a soul-driven place, and usually that place is unstoppable. Okay? All right, pile one. That's it. Let me know if you guys like this format in the comments down below. I may go back to the old format next week, not quite sure. But you guys know I love you. And again, if you are a member, log in and check out the extended reading for your zodiac sign. All right. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Alrighty. You guys selected the second pile, which is the manganese calcite. So again, this is pile 2 for the married and relationship people or segment. So let's go ahead and take a look here, see what comes through. I'm going to lay these cards out just a little different than I normally do. 4 cards on top represent your energy. 4 cards on the bottom represent your partners. So for you, 6 of Wands, King of Coins, feeling a lot of internal power, a lot of determination, and also extraordinary levels of generosity. You may be in a position right now where you're just really feeling like you want to create specifically for the sake of giving and making the world a better place, and also enriching yourself as well, but not in a selfish way, not like you're, only doing this in order to get something. It's like, no, like we can all benefit from this. I feel good intentions coming from you. I feel as though you are listening to your partner and communicating well. But with the 7 of Swords, it does indicate that maybe something is coming up or may come up that may throw a wrench in your spokes just a little bit in terms of challenging your confidence or your sense of security within the relationship. But I don't know that that's necessarily well-founded. It's likely just some kind of a trigger from the past, going into like abandonment issue mode or mommy or daddy issue mode or, traumatized whatever mode. But I don't know that that's necessarily real. And this may be something that you're needing to work through. And you may want to incorporate your partner or not. That's going to depend on you and your situation. It may be something small or subtle that's like, okay, this is surfacing for me now, and I don't want this to ruin what we have going on. I don't want this to really affect in a negative way. So I'm just going to allow myself to feel this, kind of loving that inner child, giving, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling as though you may want to astral project and go back to that childhood place or that moment when this pain was originally incurred, and offer you a lot of encouragement and a lot of love and compassion for the sake of integrating this dark shadow into your life. Because I don't think that you want this to ruin what you have. You don't want this to come or get in the way of what you've built, because clearly there's a lot of wonderful stuff and you do have a lot to offer here. You have a lot to offer your partner, but you also have a lot to offer the world. And this is common. We all have these moments. The sun is coming into Libra. It's coming into that opposition with Jupiter this week. And there may be that push-pull between needing to do something for yourself versus needing to do something for someone else. Your partner's energy, we have the 10 of Cups, Strength, 10 of Wands, okay. Clearly, your partner is a stable force in your life this week anyway, offering you stability. And I think with that 10 of Cups, they absolutely just want the best for you. And I think they understand this 7 of Swords. They're not going to judge you for that. They're not going to put you down. They're not going to be like, oh, just get over it already. And I think they are going to want you to talk with them about it, but only if you want to. Obviously that's up to you. I don't know that it will help or hurt. It's just going to depend on your own individual situation. But I look at that 10 of Wands. On one hand, I think your partner is working really hard, like with just regular things in life, like with their jobs and, doing whatever they need to around the house or with family or projects they have going on. They're working hard with that. But they also are willing to dedicate that time and energy to you as well. That's the kind of energy that they can bring into a pain of yours, and they would be willing to share that burden with you. They would be willing to do whatever it takes to take that load off of you. I feel a healing quality coming from your partner, that they are at least emotionally intelligent enough, or maybe that's what you need, right? Someone to be emotionally intelligent enough to be able to, I'm not going to say take the pain away, but almost to help you realize that that pain is not necessary and ultimately helping you to heal. I love the 4 of Coins because, again, it gives me that rock energy. Sometimes this can come off very stubborn, but right now that might be a good thing. That may be what you need. You're needing your partner to be stubborn in terms of like, no, I'm not going to let you go through this alone. I'm not going to let you sabotage something, or I'm not going to let you go backwards when you're doing so well. And it's not that they're going to be willing to do the work for you. It's not like that. It's that they're going to support you. And it's like, if you were, twisted your ankle or something and you had to lean on the stone wall for support. It's kind of like that. Like, they will not let you fall. They know you have to keep going, though. They know you have to do the work. But they will not let you fall, and they will not let you crash and burn, and they won't let you sabotage all of the wonderful things that you have already established and the momentum that you've already really built up. They see where you're going, they see your potential, and they absolutely believe in you. Now, it's not always going to be all about you, but I think this week it does need to be. It needs to be about you, and it needs to be about your path and your healing. It may alternate next week. It may be different. I think Libra season will be fluctuating, but if you need the attention, take it. It doesn't always have to. I know you're a really generous person, and it's possible that when their energy comes at you like this, you may get like defensive and say, no, I can take care of it myself. Don't worry. Again, here you are, King of Coins, highly self-sufficient, self-reliant, all of that. And maybe you're used to doing everything on your own. But I think this is a week where you learn how to lean on for support. And that will deepen your intimacy. It will deepen your levels of self-respect. And I think respect for each other's humanness, respect for each other's path will just only be enhanced. So this could be a great week for coming together in just kind of the best possible ways that's beyond physical, it's beyond even just your mission. I feel like this is spiritual connection that's possible for you here. New vitality, beautiful. I love that. And why not? Why shouldn't it be? Why couldn't it be for you? A new burst of vital energy, a new burst of coming to life, feeling revived. I do feel like your partner plays a big part in that. And I think by you allowing them to do that, in a way, you revitalize them as well. Hold on. Okay. We have the Knave of Chalices. So here we have the Knave, okay, or the Knight, and then we have the couple out here in the moonlight dancing. This is not probably the best time to be in like fantasy world. And I know that Venus is coming into an opposition with Neptune, so there may be a tendency to do that. It's going to be important for each party involved to determine and to operate according to what is actually happening versus what is projected to happen. I'm wondering if this Seven of Swords is not a projection. It's kind of like you may be hurting yourself, or maybe your partner says something and it immediately triggers something and you interpret it as something else, right? And that's why it is going to be worth it to talk through it. If you can, I'm not saying you have to, but if you can, talk through it, because it's likely that there's a misinterpretation. We are still in a Mercury retrograde after all. And we don't want to concoct things. Okay, it's not a good time for that. Virgo season, Libra season, Scorpio season. These are seasons that are very well rooted in what actually is. It's not Pisces season where we can be all in our dream space. Okay, this is what actually is. And the sooner you can address it, the sooner you move on. Okay? All right, pile number 2. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys selected the red jasper. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. So we're going to do just a little bit of a different layout. So we're going to pull 4 cards for you, 4 cards for your partner. Well, I'm just going to lay them out differently than how I normally do. Page of Cups. 10 of Swords. So this is for you, the person watching. Okay. Now, the stress from these swords may be related to the relationship or not. But more than anything, I think they're related to the vision that you have, which may include the relationship or not, okay? The vision that you have, I think, feels really far away. And I think you may be asking yourself, well, how do I get there? And feeling the weight and the pressure of how. And that's one of the things when we're talking about manifestation and law of attraction and all those wonderful things is it is important to eliminate the how to a degree. You see yourself wildly happy, but maybe you're in a situation in your relationship where you're not happy. And the trick here is, well, how do I get happy, right? That's the clincher. But it's like, but I'm not happy, I'm not happy, I'm not happy. And the more you think about how you're not at the ultimate vision, or you're not at the ultimate goal, the more and more you think that you're not there, the more it reinforces this sword energy, and it just kind of compounds and builds upon itself. So the Page of Cups is here to say, you don't need to be so worried. Okay, this is a time to practice living day by day and moment to moment. And while I don't want you to shirk your responsibilities entirely or do all this, the word we're using now is spiritually bypassing. I'm not advocating for any of that. But it is important to know, like, what's really worth the worry and what isn't. And if there's something you can do about it, then you can do it. And if there's not something you can do about it, then why worry about it? You can't do anything about it. And I feel like these swords are going to get put in perspective this week somehow. And you're going to start to elevate and transcend them and to be able to see them for what they are, which are triggers of something or remnants of old things. And I feel like 2022 has been a year where our past has really started to drift further and further away from us, but I think we're still not far enough away. Pluto is still in Capricorn. I think when he enters into Aquarius next year in March, that it will feel very distant in the past. But like right now, we're still closing everything out. So while these swords may be related to things from the past, they are still very fresh, or it feels, or you perceive them to be very fresh. Let's see what your partner's energy is in relation to this. 10 of Coins. The Moon. The Emperor. Okay. Wow. Okay, your partner is coming out really, really strong, and in a really good way. And I feel that this is that where you're at is temporary. Okay, your partner can and should be used as a support system. Now, if you're struggling in your relationship and you're having a hard time, there does need to be, maybe you need to take some time alone a little bit, maybe go visit some friends, or I think getting out of your head is important, because there may be something spiraling out of control that's not necessarily rooted in a reality. I'm not saying you're crazy or anything, but it's just perspective would be helpful, and getting neutral third-party perspectives. It's not going to be good to go to your best friend where you bad talk something, and because then it's just going to you don't want to put yourself in an echo chamber where it's just going to reinforce this, right? So get yourself out of the echo chamber. If you're safe within your partnership, your partner can act like that. Act as a good sounding board. Because an emperor is never going to lie, right? An emperor upright is always going to be a straight shooter. And he's going to say it like it is, even if it hurts. But I do feel that the emperor is coming from the place with the absolute best intentions. And I feel that I'm looking at that 10 of Coins, it's like they want the best too. You've got this vision and they want it as well. But I feel like they feel content with what is more than you are right now. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, but when there is contrast between one person in a partnership wanting more and another partner in the partnership just being content with what is, it can feel like there is a separation happening. You may be expanding on a different time frame than they are. And that's fine, but you have to acknowledge that you are expanding and they are not. When you are wanting more, and you're perceiving a gap between where you are and where you want to be, and you have a co-creator involved, communication is so important. And I hope that you are in a relationship that is healthy enough that you can communicate. Sometimes when an Emperor comes out, there can be a hard-headedness, and that can feel challenging because it's like, well, I have these deep emotional needs, but my Emperor is being a little bit harsh and brash with me. And what I really need is like emotional coddling. I don't necessarily need like someone cracking the whip on me right now, right? So maybe you don't feel safe with the Emperor, but I am telling you, you are safe. Their approach just may not really be what you're needing. And if that's the case, then you need to communicate what you need. If they push back against what you need, then you have other issues. And you're going to need to like really reevaluate, is this someone that can kind of, I'm not going to say love me the way I need to be loved, because I think maybe that's a little only like self-centered, but not like in a selfish way, but little self-centric. But I think we need to, we can't sacrifice those things either, that we do need to be loved in certain ways, and sometimes that is different from another person. But I do think the Emperor is content with what is. And they do love you, and they do have their own ambitious worldly goals, and it's highly likely that they will attain those goals. If this person is succeeding very well, and it's reflecting back to you in ways that you would like to succeed but haven't quite yet, maybe this could be an opportunity to leverage your adversity into wild success. And your partner can help you do that and show you how, or support you in that venture. But you are going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And I really hope that these swords have not become comfortable. Sometimes they do get comfortable. Sometimes the pain and the anxiety and the depression and the frustration and all of those things, sometimes those things get comfortable. And I don't know that that really does have anything to do with your partner, other than they may be triggering those things, but I don't know that those things are intentionally being triggered. Your healing is very important over the next couple of weeks as the sun comes into an opposition with Chiron. I'm not saying your partner doesn't have to do any healing, because with that moon energy, there's clearly something there. They have healing to do too. We all have healing to do. But right now, I think yours is a little bit more urgent, and yours is a little bit more on the surface, and it may be impacting decisions and relationships, or how you are relating with your partner right now. Okay, so a deep, intimate, meaningful conversation that does require some degree of vulnerability is either highly likely or inevitable, or is what's needed. Doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to take place, but I do think that might be what needs to take place. Your partner may be receptive, but again, they're going to be more solution-oriented, and their first kind of thing is, well, how can I fix it? You may not need anybody to fix anything right now, but I think that is their way of showing how much they care. So be careful to not misinterpret. So if you're wanting your partner to just listen, then you're going to need to say, I don't want you to fix the problem, I just need you to listen. If you can start it off that way, it will be better. All right, because then they'll know that they don't need to do anything. They just need to like hear you out. Okay? All right, let's take a look here at the what is this called? The Psychic Heart, or Psychic Tarot from the Heart, I think it's called, this deck. Dedicated effort. Yeah, there is going to need to be effort. You're going to have to like, I know not everyone likes this, like, hey, we need to talk. And it's like, okay, we need to talk. We need to go through this process. And sometimes that can feel heavy and it can feel daunting, and it feels like no one wants to do that. But I do think that is something that may need to be done this week, just to clear the air and get yourself on the same page, and to reestablish some semblance of balance and togetherness within the partnership. The 9 of Coins, and here he is cutting her hair. The sexual energy this week actually could be very intense. Sometimes that it could lead to that with all these swords. You know, sex as a mechanism of healing. Sex as a mechanism. Even in this card, there's 2 people hugging, right? He's painting a mural of like 2 people in love. You know, this is a choice to be together. We've got the Lover's card. This is a choice to build something substantial. It's a choice to overcome certain obstacles. Is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. Relationships are hard, and they can get very complicated, and there are a lot of nuances at play. And being able to navigate those is important. But I do think the sexual energy is quite heightened right now. Actually, Libra season is a very sexual season because it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is a very sexual planet, really ruling our sensuality and sexuality, as it were. Mars being a part of that as well, but I think we give a little too much credit to Mars. Venus, you know, she even rules like the ovaries, right, and the testes. You know, I mean, she is associated with reproduction and sex as well. So I do feel strong tantric intimacy is possible, okay? And therefore deep healing as well. And I think your partner is all for it. You know, like they'll be there, they'll show up, they'll meet you there wherever you need them to meet you. All right? Thank you guys so much. I'm going to leave you with that. You guys know I love and adore you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Alrighty, so this particular segment is for those of you who are single and looking for love, or if you find yourself in a situationship. So we're doing 3 piles the way we usually do. Pile 1, we're using all aura quartz today for the singles. We've got yellow, blue, and pink aura quartz. So take a moment and feel your way through this. So timestamps will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. So you can quickly jump from pile to pile. All right, see you in just a sec. All right, pile 1, you guys selected the yellow aura quartz. So we're going to start with 4 cards that signify your energy, or the energy for the person watching, and then we'll pull 4 cards that represent the external world. So let's go ahead and take a look for pile 1. Okay, I definitely feel like the standards are pretty high right now for you as a single. There is certainly no desire to get into just any relationship. I feel like you could if you wanted, and maybe you're having that kind of urge to do that a little bit too. But there's also like that, yeah, but that's not really what I'm going for, not really what I'm trying to do here. So the urge to have a relationship, though, is growing, and I think it will continue to grow throughout Libra and Scorpio seasons. That there is this desire to really connect, but not just in a emotional way and not just a physical way, but also an intellectual and spiritual way. Although I don't necessarily know that the person that you need to be with has to be like an exceptionally spiritual person, but they do have to have that level of self-awareness. They do have to have gone through that like death energy the way you have. I feel that you are emerging, you know, the way we often do every single day. We're always emerging. We're always sort of shifting. But the death energy is more powerful and more potent than that. And it's also a lot more long-standing than that. There is this end of an era that I'm feeling. That may have a lot to do with Pluto kind of preparing to go direct October 8th. But there is no going back. And maybe you're even questioning, well, what even would satisfy me right now? What even would bring me value in my life? Maybe you don't even know. Maybe you can't even define that right now. You just know that it would have to be exceptional. And in knowing this, I think it inspires you to be as exceptional as you can be as well. That's not just something that you're just saying, oh, well, they need to be exceptional. But now it's not just about them, right? It's about you as well, and you reaching new levels and new heights of exceptionalness in your own self. And the desire is growing, the desire to expand and to take yourself on new adventures. And I do think your sexual energy right now is quite potent. And that is inspiring you. I think that that's actually being transmuted into other creative areas of your life, like your work life or your businesses or your health or your familial relationships. That fire and that passion and that creativity is still being utilized in a productive way. So what does the external world look like for you right now regarding dating? 10 of Cups. 5 of Wands. There's both an ideal and a reality. I don't know that you are wanting to jump in the pool of dating right now, like explicitly going to date, right? Like on the apps, or you're not like wanting to go to the club or to the bar, or you're not wanting to go do those things specifically to meet people. I think you're not super happy about a lot of the desperation that comes through, because I know you don't feel desperate, right? 2 of Cups with the death energy is not desperate at all, right? It's empowered. This is Phoenix rising type of energy, and you're beyond, you're moving past, you are detaching from the kind of more hedonistic or surface level connections, and probably have been for years now. But it's becoming more and more and more apparent that, like, as much as you may like to simplify and not be so complicated, it's like, yeah, but I can't because it won't make me happy. Like, I can't just go be with someone because they're hot. I can't just go be with someone because they have a good job. You know, like, that's not nearly enough. Never was. But I think maybe when we were younger, back in the day, we could get away with that a little bit more. But now the demands for spiritual awareness is just too high. I think you do see like the murkiness of the soup, and maybe you are still kind of waiting for that Prince Charming, or I say Prince Charming because it is Disney movies, but like your person, right? You're still kind of waiting for your knight in shining armor to show up. And I think you are not willing or ready to forego the fairy tale a little bit, even though the world tells you how unrealistic that is. I think there is this part of you that's like, no, it's possible. There are couples out there who are married for 50 plus years and they still laugh. Like, I remember I did a foreign exchange student program when I was 16. I went over to France for the summer. And the couple that I was with, they were in their late 50s, early 60s. And like, they were each other's best friends. And I'll always remember how much love they had for each other. Did they have problems? Yeah. Were they perfect? No. Like, was their child kind of a rebel? Yeah. Were they happy about it? No. But they still like had this connection where the laughter carried them through. And I think that's what the Knight of Cups represents, is that person with whom you can weather any storm. And that's the fairy tale. That's the knight in shining armor. And that you do believe that that person exists, even though maybe you're a little stressed out because you don't see them You don't see them, and you're not meeting them, and they're not coming in, and they're not in your sphere, or you perceive them to not be in your sphere. The only recommendation I can have is, 1, don't let go of that dream, and 2, keep building yourself. I think when it comes to relationships, especially if you're not in one, Sun through Libra, the Sun very closely associated with the self and the soul's ambitions. And it's like the more and more you focus on the self, the more and more likely the partnership, Libra, will show up. So go hard on your own dreams. Go hard on the things that you're building, because it's possible that throughout that process, this is where the Knight of Cups will show up. Okay? So let's pull, I can't remember the name of this deck. I think it's Psychic Tarot from the Heart is what it's called. I'll put it in the description box. I just have to find the box. Joy and stability, and having that for yourself. And I think many of you have established that for yourself over the years. You have prioritized joy, especially. You've prioritized doing the things that make you happy. And with that Ace of Wands, I see no stopping with that. Can't ever really go back. Once you've had the opportunity to prioritize it, it's hard to go back. And then we have the Emperor. Okay. Why am I actually seeing this as the Knight of Cups? This is the person that you're kind of waiting for your king or your queen. Okay, you're waiting for your person. I'm happy that they're showing up to some degree in the external world here and in the sexual energy here. Now, I know you have a sex drive right now. Libra season can be very sexual. We will continue through Scorpio season as well. But again, that sex drive that is kind of being looped into your creativity and your creative endeavors and creative efforts. There does seem to be a link, though, between creative efforts and your partnership. So that's good. So that's really, really good. So keep doing what you're doing. All right? Thank you so much, Pile 1. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Okay, pile number 2, you selected the blue Aura Quartz. So we are going to pull out 4 cards first to represent your energy, or the energy of the person watching, and then 4 cards to represent the external world. Okay, so let's see for pile number 2 for this single reading. High Priestess, the Magician, 10 of Coins. Okay, well, I certainly feel like with or without a person, you are making some big moves. With the Magician and the 10 of Coins, like there is a very strong tidal shift going on. And that's blanket statement, by the way, with Pluto starting to go direct. I mean, that Pluto transition into Aquarius is going to be huge. So we are starting to see the effects of that come as we come into October. Pluto basically is not even really moving right now. He's super, super slow moving. And because of that, we're having this opportunity to really breathe and say, this is where I want my next chapter to take me. And so we're in sort of this preparation, strategizing, planning kind of mode. And I see that coming out full force with that King of Swords. And you may be a little inaccessible to love right now, even though in your heart you're like, no, I'm so open, I'm so ready. I'm like, I would tend to disagree. The person that I said this for pile 1 as well, and maybe this is just a blanket thing for all the singles this week, but I feel that like the person that you're hoping to attract, like they are going to have to bring so much freaking value into your life. right? Like they're just going to have to bring so much, because look at what you have going for yourself. 10 of coins orientation, meaning you're out there making the big moves, you're earning the money, you're saving for your own retirement, you're buying the houses, you're building the careers, building the businesses, building the clientele, you're writing the books, like you're doing all the things, and you're doing it on your own with the support of friends and family, of course, but like you're doing it. And the magician is saying, like, you're not going to stop. And the queen of coins, the high priestess, she's over here saying, why would you stop? It's going to require someone very special to be on your level. I wonder how much you're really desiring a relationship right now anyway. Maybe in theory it's nice, but in the reality of it, it may prove to be too complex. Complex to a degree that you're like, I don't know that that's really what I want, you know. Not yet, not right now, not in this moment. But let's see what the environment looks like. 4 of coins reversed. Seven of swords, hermit. Judgment reversed. I don't know how fertile the environment is with regarding to relationships right now. I'm not saying you couldn't meet somebody. I'm just saying that, like, when in this moment, when you look out there, you may see lots of good people. You know, they're good people. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're upstanding citizens. They have strong beliefs that maybe even those beliefs and values align with your own. But the question is just because they have those things and just because they meet those criteria, does that mean that you want to fully integrate them into your life? And I think when you look out there, regardless of what you see, you just may not see anyone standing out enough. And I think it's giving you a lot of reason to continue focusing on your own endeavors right now. There's nothing to really grab onto out there. Again, in this moment, it does not mean forever. It's just like this week, all right? Or this week or the upcoming weeks. With the hermit, I don't know that that's the most romantic. I mean, that's definitely not the most romantic card to get. And you may actually be finding yourself even more attracted to emotionally unavailable people because you don't want to sacrifice your own independence right now. The real question is how ready are you truly to fully integrate another person into your plans? On the surface, in your conscious mind, you may be like, I'm ready. What are you talking about, Jane? Like, I'm ready. I wouldn't be sitting here watching this tarot card reading if I wasn't. But I think there's something energetic that's happening. That King of Swords is emitting something because this is a card of Aquarius, all right? And Aquarius is actually the ruler of detachment, all right? Because from Aries up through Capricorn, this is like the story of us becoming the person that we are destined to become. But when we hit Aquarius, this is when we start to separate from our ego and we separate from our identity and we start to kind of integrate into a humanity. There's more of a collectiveness here. So we separate as an individual and become one as a part of the collective. So there is a lot of detachment coming through, and while you may not be doing that on purpose, it may be astrological. You know, we do have Saturn still in Aquarius, and I think generally speaking, that has been a challenging relationship transit because it aspects by opposition the zodiac sign of Leo, right? Leo and Aquarius are opposites, and Leo has a lot to do with romance and dating. But when Saturn is over there in rulership and it's shining its dark light over onto Leo, it's like maybe we're not taking the pleasure in dating the way we normally would. We're not taking pleasure in the romance. Like, it's fun, but maybe it won't lead anywhere. And because you know it won't lead anywhere, it's like, well, what's the point? So I kind of feel that that energy is sort of being emitted from the King of Swords, even though you still have high aspirations for yourself romantically. 10 of Coins, yes, you have your own stuff, but I also know that you want a partner to do that with. Like, you want to build a legacy and, I don't know, generational wealth, and build, you know, a means through which you can contribute to your communities. You know, you want more. Just right now, it may feel a little bit inaccessible, but that will shift. Don't worry, that will change. Okay, this is a temporary situation that is astrologically supported. But as we make our way into the beginning of 2023, it is highly likely that that will begin to shift as Saturn enters into Pisces. Okay, so let's pull out a couple oracle cards for you, starting with one of these. Okay, see, love. See, yeah, because you, like, if it's gonna, like, I don't know, I think you would rather have something that just works. Right now, I wonder how much effort you're willing to put into something. I wonder how much accommodating you're willing to do. I don't think you're willing to do that much. This is a fixed energy. He can be quite rigid. If something were to come into your life right now, because I do think you're prioritizing, like, incredible love, like the incredible kind, life-changing kind. But that's not just emotionally connected, but that there's something bigger than the relationship itself. There's a greater vision and a greater mission with things. And you're not willing to settle. Strong, non-settling energy for people right now. For the sexual magic deck, we have, the Lovers. Now, the Lovers can often indicate choices. You know, even though this is a kind of a different deck, it's not like a traditional tarot deck or anything. But this is actually one of the original types of artwork with a man with a blonde and a brunette. Like, it was like the choosing of between the two women, or the choosing between two options or two pathways. And that they often represent different things and different aspects of self. And that, you know, like, one person may bring out the more adventurous side, where another person may bring out the more sexual side of you, or whatever it is. And the way different people come in and accentuate or highlight a different trait. I think you're wanting someone, and I know this is a huge ask, and it's possible that you don't think this is possible. And I think from a logical standpoint, this is ridiculous. But from an illogical standpoint, I think what you're seeking is someone who has it all, and who brings out the best of you in every way. I hate even saying that, because I think that that's something that, it's like what the fairy tales pitch. It's like a Disney movie type stuff, which we know is not real. But is that not somewhere in the back of your mind? Is it not? You know, isn't that not there for all of us to some degree? Isn't that why so many people have so many disappointments in relationships? But I think right now you're just not willing to settle, like I said before, repeating myself, sorry, over and over again, but I just think that's just the case. Now, it will shift and it will bend and it will change with time, with astrological movements and all that. It will become something else. Next week, it'll be a totally different message, I'm sure. But if this is what it needs to be right now, then chances are it's for a reason. I look at this Judgment card, and I think the higher intelligence, as indicated by this angel, is certainly concocting something for you. It is brewing or putting something together. And while you may have this very high standard, it may not necessarily mean that this standard will ultimately need to stay in place, but it may be that it's keeping you out of things. It's keeping you out of chaos. It's keeping you out of toxic situations, right? So that when the quote unquote right person does show up, then you'll be available. That's interesting. That may be why this impossible standard is really showing up for you right now, because it wants you to be available in the right place at the right time. And that's it, plain and simple. I feel that this standard is protection right now. Okay? All right, pile 2. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I love and adore you. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Take care. Okay, pile number 3, you guys selected the pink aura quartz. So let's go ahead. Now we're doing just a little bit of a different layout this week. I'm going to lay 4 cards on top, which will signify your energy, and then 4 cards on the bottom signifying the external world. So let's start. 9 of Cups, beautiful. The Sun. The Hanged Man, and the World. Okay, a lot of major arcana, but like nice ones. I just feel like you're content. You're happy with where you're at, where you're going, what you're building, what's turning over for you. You are maybe being a little bit suspended in time. Both of these cards are actually very slow moving cards. But I kind of think you're grateful for that, because it's giving you time to focus on other things that are important to you. That if you were to attract a relationship right now, then it couldn't be about you as much as you need it to be about you. And I think you do. I think you do. You're going through a phase in your life where you have to dedicate time and energy to yourself. And, we're in a very interesting time in humanity where, this is really the first time in human history where we have the luxury, and I will say that, it is a luxury to be able to do all this soul searching. It's a luxury to discover ourselves and to heal and to, do whatever we want to do. Like the fact that you can literally make a living doing anything nowadays. You can make a living dancing on TikTok. You can make a living eating food. Right? Like when in human history has that ever been the case? Unless you were a royal or a part of the upper echelon of people, you were basically doing hard labor all day long. And so I feel like there's this this moment of appreciating the luxury of being able to have these spiritual experiences and being able to have the time and the energy to focus on yourself. And being in a relationship right now not that you wouldn't invite it in. I think you're actually very open, but you're also not trying to make that happen. You're not trying to put effort into that because you know that would interrupt this moment in time. And you're like, but I like where I am. I like what's going on. I like how I'm developing and how I'm growing. Let's see what the external world looks like. Got the Moon. Yeah, the universe is clearly responding to the energy that you're emitting. I don't know that anyone is going to be delivered to you anytime soon. It's like you're taking too much enjoyment in where you're at. I don't think that's not a bad thing. It's just you're taking enjoyment in where you're at. You're enjoying learning and all that. And so the universe says, okay, well, I'm going to respond to this energy that you're putting out there. And maybe I will just make sure that you can be there and you can take this time. So I'm not going to bring anybody else in right now. I don't know that you're really interested in being anyone's healer either. Because maybe when you look out at the dating pool, you see people who haven't embraced the process. People who are still in denial, still living in fear and insecurity, and who are still operating from their subconscious programming and all that. I'm not trying to like be a psychologist or anything, but like they're still operating from that wounded place. 5 of Cups, the moon, they're standing still. It's like they're paddling without realizing that their boat is still tethered to the dock. And you don't want to be a part of that. That would complicate your life too much. That's a theme with the singles, is the singles are not wanting a relationship to come in and complicate their life. It's like if they're going to accept a relationship right now, it's got to be simple. It's got to add value. It's got to make you better. It's got to help you to improve. You're not trying to get into these dark, shadowy, twin flame, toxic kinds of situations, and you would rather be suspended here and allow things to just sort of naturally shift in their own time, right? You would rather be doing that than out there scrambling, trying to make someone else happy. But I think because of this, because you are affording yourself this time, the type of person that can be made available to you is something that is beyond your imagination right now. You don't have to let go of the dream or the fantasy of having that quote unquote perfect relationship. I don't mean perfect, like actually perfect, but the perfect connection with an imperfect person. You don't have to let go of that dream. You can hang on to it. You can store it in your heart, but it doesn't have to be the reason why you make all these decisions. I really do, with this sun energy, think that you are making a lot of high quality decisions for yourself. And because of that, everything around you energetically is sort of transforming, and it's in process. The world is always like this turnover, and it is a process of things happening. And you can't perceive it, but it is divine, and it is beautiful, and it is wonderful. And there's nothing you can do about it either. There's nothing you can do to hurry it up. There's nothing you can do to control it, anything. So it is just a luxury to be here. Okay, let's pull out a couple oracles. Healing begins. Well, I think it has begun. I do. I think you've been doing that for a while. I think we all have. But maybe this is the first time when you're starting to feel the effects of healing. When you're actually feeling healed. How does your life change when you feel healed? When you feel more whole, you feel more integrated with yourself. You do become unstoppable. You become more confident. You start to live in your own sense of self-value. And we have death, which from a sexual energy standpoint, the question is, are you even feeling sexual? Like, you may have a sex drive, but again, to be able to engage in that, I don't know that unconscious sex or casual sex even, I don't think that's not your game right now. You're looking for the kind of deep tantric universal connection, the kind where you fully integrate and share with one another. It's either that or nothing, and I think you'd rather choose nothing at this point. But that's okay, because you're in a purification process anyway. There is kind of this, I always envision with the sun, it's like in the old days, where you used to put your laundry out on the clothesline, especially your white sheets and your white clothes and dish towels and stuff, because the sun would like bleach them, so I kind of feel like you're getting bleached a little bit, and purifying and coming back to that more pure state, which increases your standards even that much more. But it is beautiful, and I think that you will meet someone that does meet those standards because you are unwilling to bend. Okay? All right, pile 3, you guys know I love and adore you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.